Hey, this is Mr. Barre, and today we're going to factor some trinomials, but this time we're going to do it with mixed signs. So last time we did all positives, and then we also did all negatives. This time we're going to be mixing up the signs with positives and negatives. So in an apple orchard, when you crowd the trees, I've given this example before, you get fewer apples per tree. So this is actually a polynomial type of problem where you can maximize your yields, or optimize the volume of a can while minimizing the amount of material needed. All right, let's do some notes. So what we're going to start with is your name, and our title is Factoring Trinomials. With mixed signs. And I have 4 problems we're going to do. So we'll start with an all positive. So all positive, so notice here, this is a positive and this is a positive, which means the answer is going to be with positives. Everything's going to be positive, so everything's going to be positive. So what are some ways to make a 16? Well, we have some options on a 16. We have what? 1 and 16. Two and 8, and there it is. It's the 2 and the 8, isn't it? Because 2 plus 8 gives me my 10. So my answer is x plus 2, x plus 8. This is all positive. Now we're going to do one that's all negative. So I have x squared minus 13x plus 30. And because this is a negative and this is a positive, see negative, positive, I know it's going to be an all negative solution. Negative. Up here we saw positive, positive. So I actually know what to expect before I even do the problem. So this is going to be x minus, x minus. So what are some ways to make a 30? You can make a 30 with a 1 and a 30, but that doesn't get me to a 13. I can go with a 2 and a 15, but also if I'm adding these together, that doesn't get me to a 13. How about a 3 and a 10? Yes, a 3 and a 10 will get me to my 30. And I'll check it before I get crazy. See, x squared, boom. Negative 3 times negative 10 is positive 30, good. Negative 3 plus negative 10 is negative 13, that worked. So this one was all negative. Now something I want you to see on both these, the all negative and the all positive both have a positive last term. And that's because a negative times a negative is a positive, and a positive times a positive is a positive. Now we're going to do a mixed sign. And that negative right there tells me that it's going to be a mixed sign. So here's really today's lesson. Those last two were review. Here it is. So what are some ways to make a 12? Well, I can go with 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Now before, I was always adding the numbers together. 1 plus 12, does that make a 1? No. 2 plus 3, 2 plus 6 is 8? No. 3 plus 4 is 7? Not 1. But now, because it's a mixed sign, I have to start thinking about adding and subtracting the numbers. So a 1 and a 12, that'll take me to a 13 or an 11. A 2 and a 6, that'll take me to an 8 or it'll take me to a 4. A 3 and a 4, that'll take me to a 7 or a 1. So I'm going to actually subtract these numbers. One will be positive, one will be negative, and I need to get to a negative 1. So how do I get to a negative 1 using a 3 and a 4? Well, it's going to be 3 minus 4 is my negative 1. Let's check it. X squared, x squared. Negative 4, 3 is negative 12. 3x minus 4x is negative 1x. And because of this guy right here, because that's a negative, I know it's going to be a mixed sign. I've got one more mixed sign problem. And then we'll do some practice. So I have x squared plus 3x minus 10. And it's all about this guy right there. That negative tells me it's going to be a mixed sign. It's not about this number, because if you look at the last problem, this was a negative. I'm not even looking here. I'm looking right there, and this is telling me that it's going to be a mixed sign. All right, what are some ways to make a 10? 1 and 10. 2 and 5. A 1 and a 10, that'll get me to an 11 or a 9. I want to get to a 3. A 2 and a 5, that'll get me to a 7 or a 3. It's this one right here. So let's build it. Now, do I want to do 2 minus 5, or do I want to do 5 minus 2? 2 minus 5 would give me to a negative 3. Nope. 5 minus 2 would give me to a positive 3. So 5 minus 2. Let's check it to see if it works. X squared, that worked. Negative 10, that worked. 5x minus 2x, 5x minus 2x, 3x. That worked. Awesome. Let's do some practice now. Okay, so that's it for the notes for today. Notes are done. And now we're just going to work together and practice some of these. I'm going to do this one right here. All right. So why don't you do this, and I'll do it also. Get my drawing tool ready. Okay, so what are some ways to make a 20? Why am I not drawing? I'm not drawing. Draw. I want to draw. Oh, it's because I was drawing in white. There we go. Okay. Here we go. So what are some ways to make a 20? I can go with 1 times 20. How about 2 times 10? About 4 times 5. And I'm trying to get to a negative 9. You know what? This is not a mixed sign. So we're going to skip this one. This is not a mixed sign. This is 2 negatives. This is a negative negative. It's actually minus 4 minus 5. So that's not even a mixed sign one. So let's skip that one. We've got to find one that's a mixed sign. Okay, this is going to be a mixed sign. So I know it's a mixed sign because of this negative right there. That means it's going to be a negative positive, so this is why it's a mixed sign. And let's go with 1 times 10, 2 times 5. Okay. So 1 plus 10 is 11. 10 minus 1 is 9. So it's going to be this guy right here. This one will get me to a 9. So let's build it. So x, is it 10 minus 1 or is it 1 minus 10? Which one's going to work? Well, it's this one right here. So we'll go with 10 minus 1. Let's do another one. This is not a mixed sign, right? I just want to do mixed signs with you guys right now. This is a negative negative, isn't it? So look at that. Is that... No, this is a negative negative. Not even a mixed sign. So we're not going to do that one. Let's go find another mixed sign to do. That's a mixed sign. So right here. See how that's a negative? That means I'm going to have a mixed sign on this. So one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative. So I have 1 and 20. Will that work? That'll get me to a 21 or a 19. So that's no good. Go with 2 and 10. Well, that'll get me to a 12 or an 8. That's no good. There's a 1 right here. How about 4 and 5? Well, that'll get me to a 9, or it'll get me to a 1. So it's this guy right here. This is the one that's going to work. So is it 4 minus 5, or is it 5 minus 4? Well, I want the negative, so it's going to be a 4 minus 5. So 4 minus 5. Let's see, does it really work? Right here, I get an x squared. That worked. Right here, I get a negative 20. That worked. Right here, I get a 4x minus a 5x, which gives me a negative x. That worked. All right, cool. Thanks for watching.